everybody. Happy Thursday.
We're gonna go see Batman vs. Superman. And we'll tell you how it is. We're off to see the movies, the wonderful movies of Batman. There's somebody else in the movie? It's just Batman. Oh, I forgot. And Wonder Woman.
Ah, yes, yes.
So not only is Batman vs. Superman coming out today, it's also the 30th anniversary of this record. Van Halen 5150, the first record with Sammy Hagar, came out 30 years ago today. So basically when this record came out, we were just about the same age as Jesse now then. That's a pretty scary thought, especially when you think that when this record came out, Van Halen played the Monsters of Rock Festival at Giant Stadium in New Jersey. And basically for me to get there from my house in Queens with one of my friends without any parents, I took a train to a bus in Port Authority over to Giant Stadium, watched the show, and I came home myself with my friend after the show ends at 11 o'clock at night in East Rutherford, New Jersey, into New York City and back home on a bus. My parents were nuts. I don't think they loved me very much. Gonna pay way, yeah. Alright, so before we head into the movie theater, I just want to acknowledge that there were a lot of bad reviews coming off of the press screenings that came out.
I'm Batman. Stop telling me my movies suck.
So as we're going to see this tonight, it's Thursday night, it's the night before it actually premieres on Friday, and we're going to go see this in IMAX 3D. The movie at this point on Rotten Tomatoes has like a 33 or 38% rating.
I'm Batman. Stop telling me my movie sucks. I'm gonna cry.
So it's abysmal. But that being said, Paul from Ideology of Madness, I'll put the link down below, is a very trusted source for looking at comic book movies and everything. And if you don't know, besides the YouTube channel, they have a very robust website as well as a podcast weekly about comics, and said that this was his favorite comic book movie ever up until the last half an hour, which is kind of like the same problem that I had with Zack Snyder's Superman movie, the last Superman that came out, where I thought it was phenomenal all the way through until they got to the end. I couldn't stand the collateral damage that took place at the end, or the storyline with Zod, where it led up to, and then how he just kind of got off from, like whether killing people or doing all the damage and stuff. So that being said, we're going to head into the movies now, and we'll let you know what we think. Look at this line to get in here already. It's an hour before the movie. The line starts up there, goes all the way down there, and wraps all the way back around.
Ah, that's a lot of people waiting. I can't do that. There's a lot of people waiting.
Our line is moving. Going in IMAX. What?
It's like
The movie just wrapped. It's 12:35. We're gonna go home and talk about it. It's pouring outside. Look at this weather. What the heck?
I'm honored, Batman. Did you enjoy my movie? Oh God, Batman. I'm dead.
Alright, we are back home. We had a couple of minutes to collect our thoughts, so it's not just like an instant type of thing coming out of the movie theater and go to the bathroom. I'm gonna start with Mary this time.
Oh boy, I was waiting for you guys to do.
What did you think? The world needs the Mary scale.
Well, you gotta remember, I don't follow comics and stuff like that, so I'm kind of a movie kind of person. So, but I thought it was great. It was a really, really awesome, in-depth, all the time movie. So it was pretty cool.
Okay. Jesse, what did you think?
It was okay.
Just okay? 50-50? What do you think you give it as a rating on the Mary scale? Mary, scale, activate. Form of a movie review.
I would say about 3.5, maybe 3 3/4 stars.
Okay. And you?
Mine was 3.75. I thought about it in the movie. I was like, this is what I'm gonna rate it.
What was it?
3.75.
Yeah.
Oh, so mommy and,
That was
and
like
Jesse, same
halfway in
thing.
between. I was like, it's a 4. I was like, no, it's too generous.
Okay. So here's my thing. Obviously, I'm sitting here clad in Batman stuff. And I've got my armored hat on. But I am a big Batman fan. However, for you guys have watched the channel for a bit, I am a huge comic fan. More so than just a particular character. My favorite characters are all generally Marvel based. I was never a DC guy. When it comes to DC, I am very much a Batman fan. So, I went into this movie hoping that there would be a lot of Batman. More so than Superman, because I don't particularly care for the last Superman movie. I liked, of the last Superman movie, I really enjoyed the first 2/3 of the movie, and the last third of the movie I genuinely, it's not even like I didn't like it, I hated it. So this movie, I have to be honest, I'm going to buck the trend here because there's so many negative reviews. I don't want this review to be extra positive because of the negative stuff, but I genuinely loved this movie. To me, this was the most complete superhero movie since the Avengers. I think...
The Avengers are on my feet.
Yeah, we have Avengers socks on. So, not me, Jesse does. So, what I could say is that the movie is, it is a long movie, right? It's 2.5 hours of movie telling. This was not a typical formula-driven movie, and I think folks, that have been very big on knocking the movie on Rotten Tomatoes and some other sites, are doing so because we've been conditioned to Marvel movies at this point where, we have a very quick introduction to a hero, they learn their powers or do whatever, and they find a villain, they struggle, they lose, then they overcome at the end, and there's a lot of witty banter in the middle. We've basically seen kind of like the same type of movie over and over again from Marvel, and I think people are conditioned to want to see that. And I think that's the same thing for a lot of movies that we've seen in the movie theaters recently, and that's why there's so many different reboots and remakes like Jurassic World. Same movie as Jurassic Park, but, current audiences love the movie because it was either new to them from when they saw Jurassic Park, they never saw Jurassic World, or I'm sorry, Jurassic Park, and now they've seen Jurassic World, etc. But people want to see the same thing over and over again in a condition. This movie is not the typical Marvel superhero movie. This movie is a very long
And dark.
build. Yeah, it's a very dark movie. It is definitely not for kids. It is not a movie that you're going to bring your 5-year-old to because they love to see Batman or, like their image of things. Batman in this movie is, almost like a step further down the line of what he was in the Dark Knight series.
Yeah.
But
More tormented.
yeah, and I think Superman is very much the same type of character build as Batman in that respect. But I can liken this to like the Rocky type movies. When things were new or fresh, and if you go back to the first Rocky movie, what really worked was that there was such a long build to get to a fight. And the fight doesn't happen instantly. That would be instant gratification and fan service. Like, oh, we want to see Batman versus Superman. It should be the first thing in the movie. But there's a lot of plot that gets you to that point in this movie. And I think, I again kind of call back to like Rocky, the first movie, where there was such a long build to the point of where you finally get to see the two of them fight. And it wasn't a traditional type of film at that point because there wasn't necessarily the victor that you would expect to win. Here's real life. The good guys don't always win in real life. And not only do the good guys not only win in real life, sometimes the good guys don't make it through a battle in real life. And that's the way comics were. DC is very big on making comics that were a little bit more real life driven or believable, I think, in my opinion. And you had storylines.
Like actually heroes.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because I never really. I used to read Archie.
Yeah. So, if you were familiar with DC Comics, back in the '90s, you had characters die, and we've had other characters die. We've had Robin die. We've had Superman die. And I know that in Marvel, we have something potentially set up with that cattail flying in front of me. We have something potentially set up in the Civil War movie, which I'm fairly certain probably won't happen even in the movie that people are expecting. But in any event, I genuinely love this movie. I would give this movie myself 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Ooh, you're going high on that one.
I loved it. I would love to see it again. There are flaws in the movie that I'm not going to get into here because I'm not going to talk through spoilers. And I do not want folks to give spoilers in the comments below either. But there are things in the movie that I certainly did not like, but it didn't drive me to the point where I was like, man, this sucks. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm not with the popular opinion in that regard. I think that as a comic fan, this was amazing.
Okay.
As a movie fan, it was a really solid movie.
Yeah, I thought the movie was great from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I'm curious to
Is there anything that you particularly liked or didn't like in the movie without spoilers? What did you think of Wonder Woman?
She's a nobody, man.
She's a nobody. What?
Like, out of nowhere, it's like, oh, I'm Superwoman. Like, not Superwoman, Wonder Woman.
She is total women empowerment.
Yeah, and what about every other woman superhero?
But Wonder Woman was first.
But who cares?
Well, not first, to get on the screen here. But,
I know.
And for those,
She was like a random person.
I don't think that this is a spoiler because you've seen it in the trailers, obviously. But I think the reveal probably would have been a lot better or more impactful if it wasn't done in the trailers about Wonder Woman. I think that the trailer saw that people needed something meaty to bring them into the theater to see, and
Or else they wouldn't want to see it.
yeah, and that was it. Although I will say that this movie sets up Justice League a lot. So there are other things going on in this movie, both on the good side and on the bad side, that you're going to look back or you're going to come to the movie if you're a comic fan and say, this was really done well. And it wasn't a thing of, I was nervous that they were going to jam too much into the movie at one time, and I don't necessarily think that they did that. I think that they did well in Lex Luthor's development, and then the good guys, and leading things into the next movie.
Yeah, I didn't expect Lex Luthor to be such a decent character. I was like hesitant.
Jesse Eisenberg?
Yeah,
or
because I'm so used to the old. I'm so used to the old Lex Luthor, being like a dim-witted, kind of genius, kind of weird person. But this, he carries it way.
I think Jesse Eisenberg, I think that's his name, or is it Eisenberg or is it Eisenberg?
Eisenberg.
I think he was a much different than Lex Luthor than we've seen before.
He's very pretty.
Much different than Gene Hackman earlier.
He did it really well. He's like, man.
Yeah, he is maniacal in the movie. He's
cool.
very much plays the same character in almost every movie that he's in. Although I think that he took it, he kind of like hit it into like,
the ballpark.
Yeah, no, he kind of put the ampage up past 10, so he put it all the way to 11 for this movie.
Wonder Woman first came out in December 1941.
Yeah. So, there were some funny references, I think, for comic fans in there too. Tying back. I mean, obviously there's no like Stan Lee type cameo, but there's some inside baseball lines that are said in the movie that were really funny to hear. I thought Wonder Woman was phenomenal for what we saw of her in the movie.
Outfit.
She always has.
Yeah. Anyway, Wonder Woman I thought was phenomenal. Jesse Eisenberg I thought was great. I think when you get to the end and what you've seen in trailers, obviously Doomsday is the villain at the for their culmination battle. They've it's been well advertised. That part of the fight, I think, was done as well as possible. I think that there's it takes away when you're getting into CGI type of stuff in the movies, but it wasn't as distracting as it's been with like Transformers or some of those.
The Transformers is Transformer. Who doesn't want to be Optimus Prime?
It's not like you couldn't follow the action, at least in this battle. It was CGI driven, but it looked fine. And I will say that we saw the movie in IMAX 3D. The sound was ridiculous. So there were things that were happening behind us that you could hear, to the sides, and
I wish it was 4D. Like when they have like the thingies underneath.
Oh, the
it?
seat
they have
shaking
that.
and all that.
They don't have that at our theater, but that's an option.
That should have been for that thing.
They should just build that theater there for that.
Yeah, for the movie. You know how cool that would be with all like the stuff everywhere? Like, man.
We should drive 2 hours to Tampa and go see it that way.
Let's do it.
So, but in any event, I genuinely like the movie. I'm not gonna give away spoilers. Like I said, people are complaining online about the movie, and I'm not sure that what folks were waiting for or looking for with the movie. But
I went in with no expectations whatsoever. I saw the couple of things on TV, and I didn't even look at any reviews, no nothing. So
yeah, I mean, put it this way: like when the movie ended in our theater, which was packed, like every showing was sold out today. But when the movie ended, people all applauded.
they clapped. Yeah, it was amazing.
People were applauding and cheering at the end of the movie. So I don't know if it's like that all over the place. I mean, I know that we ran into friends at the movie that watched it with us, and they enjoyed the movie as well. So I think if you take their review at 3.5 and you gave mine at, or 3 3/4, and you gave mine at 4.5, we end up somewhere around like the 4 type range, 4 out of 5.
3.87 something.
Pretty solid movie all around. I genuinely liked it, and that's all I can think of right now. So thanks for watching and dealing with us rambling
It's
for a
his
little
birthday.
bit. That's true.
Yay,
We've
it's
ticked into my birthday, so
It's 1:33 in the morning.
yay!
Happy birthday.
Feeling an hour early, or older.
Earlier.
Yeah, hour early. I'm exhausted.
We're tired.
We got to get up for work in a couple hours. So, on that note, thank you for all of your likes.
Your comments.
Your subscriptions.
Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys.
Adios.
Bye. I'm just walking down the street today. The graphics go in and out all the time. I'm Batman. My eyes. I'm Batman. Did you enjoy my movie? Did it suck as bad as those other critics said it did? Did it? Did it?